I just can't let you go. Lord knows that I've tried to. You said I was the only one. No one likes being lied to. You made this mess and left me with the pieces. Now I wanna burn all the bridges between us. I can't focus, I can't forget. I've been thinking too much lately. I just need to clear my head. I just need to clear my head. I've been stuck on memory, but it's not like I need it. And we may have some history, but we don't have to repeat it. You made this mess and left me with the pieces. Now I'm gonna burn all the bridges between us. I can't focus, I can't forget. I've been thinking too much lately. I just need to clear my head. 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 I just need to. I just need to clear my head. I just need to. I just need to clear my head. I just need to. I just need to clear my head. I just need to. I just need to clear my head. I can't focus, I can't forget. I've been thinking too much lately. I just need to clear my head. Oh, clear my head. I just need to clear my head.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that was Ellis, Clear My Mind, the official opening theme song for the SJP Foul Sports Report. I am your host, SJP, and we are back again talking NBA. And after a wild couple of days, we have the Eastern Conference is essentially set for the second round. Game 1 of the Sixers Atlanta series begins on the 6th, and the Brooklyn-Milwaukee series begins on the 5th. So Brooklyn and Milwaukee will be playing on Saturday, and Philly-Atlanta will be playing on Sunday. Now, this is not how I thought the playoffs would break down. I thought the Knicks would beat the Atlanta Hawks in a 7-game series, but that didn't happen. The main reason for that being Julius Randle just didn't show up. Julius Randle did not show up for the playoffs. He didn't show up. He was horrendous the entire series. Never shot more than 40% the whole series. This game, in game 5 in MSG, 8 for 21 from the field, 38%. 3 for 9 from 3-point line, which isn't terrible. Which actually isn't that bad. 3 for 9 from 3-point line is 33%. It's not great, but it's not bad. 13 rebounds, 23 points, minus 14 from the field. 8 turnovers. Julius Randle won Most Improved Player of the Year this year. He's going to make an All-NBA team this year. This is his third team. A lot of us thought that he would be able to give you something in this playoffs. He played 5 games, 36 minutes a game. He was 5 of 18, basically 5 of 19 from the field. That was his average. 5.6 field goals made per game, 18.8 attempted per game, 30%. Actually, it's 29%. More like 29.8% from the field. 29.8% from the field, 33% from the three-point line. I mean, 27% from 2, making a grand total of 29% from the field. 35% effective field goal percentage. He was 85% from the free throw line. 11 rebounds, which is great. He averaged 18 points, 4 turnovers, 3 fouls. He had a horrendous showing in these playoffs. And I believe, get this wild theory, hot take. We hot taking it right now. I believe that Julius Randle may have spent the summer, or what passes for the summer in this year's NBA, with Paul George. Because I feel like Paul George managed to find a way to transfer his way off penis onto Julius Randle. Because playoff P has been balling all series out there in Dallas with the Dallas Mavericks, Los Angeles Clippers series. I'll get to that a little bit later. But Julius Randle has shown some serious, like the most, I'm trying to figure out the word, the most like prominent or the most, I can't think of the word, but it's essentially been the most like extreme version. That's what I'm looking at. The most extreme version of way off P. He didn't show up at all. The moment the entire series was too much for him, and he buckled under the pressure of playing in New York. And it's going to be a rough off season for you, man, because New Yorkers, I'm from up north. I tell you right now, New Yorkers, especially northern sports fans, we are ruthless when it comes to our, especially basketball. We are ruthless when it comes to our sports. So if you suck, and you suck continuously for an extended period of time of a series, they gonna let you have it in New York. So it's gonna be a rough summer for you, my guy. And I know you were looking for that big contract extension. I think they could offer him like 4 years, 140 or something like that in New York. I'm not giving you that. After this showing in the playoffs, I'm not giving you 4 years, $140+ million. Oh no, you have to wait. I need something more from you. I need you to show me that you could play in the playoffs. And if you can't play in the playoffs, I need to find somebody who can take your spot as the number 1 guy on this roster. This was horrendous play by Julius Randle, and a stark contrast from that, Trae Young, who was also in his first playoff series, balled out all series long. He averaged 29 points, 10 rebounds. He shot 91% from the free throw line, 34% from 3, 44% from the field in general. But I mean, Trae Young has some serious, he's got that thing. He's got that thing, that swagger that all the greats have. He has the swagger all the greats have. He has that Michael Jordan shrug shoulder thing. He got the Kobe, you know, tear the shirt off when I hit a game-winning shot. He got the LeBron, pounding his chest. He got the Luka Doncic. Yo, he too little for me. Luka got it too. They all got that. He got that Joel Embiid, that Dikembe Mutombo finger wag. He got the Hakeem Olajuwon, the Steph Curry shimmy. Trae Young has it all. He's got all of that. And I believe wholeheartedly, I still believe that Luka was the better player in that draft, and Luka should have been the number 1 overall pick, but I will digress because it's apparently worked out for Phoenix because DeAndre Ayton's balling. But Trae Young has proven without a shadow of a doubt that he is among the next stars in this league, that he is among that next level of guys who are going to show up and show out. It's perfect. He was fantastic all series, And I can't wait to see him in the next round against the Philadelphia 76ers. Now I think they're going to get waxed. Let's be real. If Joel Embiid plays, and hopefully Joel Embiid is healthy and he's ready to go. But if Joel Embiid, I don't know, he's day-to-day with that knee injury that he went out in Game 4 against the Washington Wizards. But if Joel Embiid is healthy, relatively healthy in this series, the 76ers are going to wax. They're going to wax the Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta can't hang with them. Even without Joel Embiid, I still think the Atlanta Hawks win this series. The 76ers win this series instead of like 5, because I think Trey is playing so well, he could get you at least a game. If Joel Embiid's healthy, I think the Hawks as a team right now are playing so well that Trey could get you a game, to blow up and get you like a game. But if Joel Embiid isn't healthy, I think this series goes 6. And if I'm the Philadelphia 76ers, I'm in no rush to bring Joel Embiid back. I'm in no rush whatsoever to bring him back, because you can beat them without Joel Embiid. You can beat them without a healthy Joel Embiid. I suggest they sit Joel Embiid for Game 1 if he's not feeling it. If he's not feeling great, I suggest you sit him for Game 1 and then bring him back in Game 2, because I think Ben Simmons and them boys can keep it condensed, because I honestly believe that Ben Simmons and them boys can could last a couple games without Joel Embiid. I think they could do that. And shout out to Clint Capella, who's also had a fantastic series. I love the finger wag in, Game 4 in Atlanta. I love the finger wag. Got sweat. This team is dripping in the swag of Trae Young. They are dripping, and just like the Warriors were dripping in the swag of Steph Curry, he is dripping in the swag of Trae Young. They are fantastic. He's averaging a career high in playoff rebounds and 13.5 rebounds per game. He gave you 10 points, gave you 2 blocks a game. He's playing fantastic. I love what this team looks like right now, and I am incredibly surprised that they beat the Knicks in 4. Not in 4, in 5. I am shocked they beat the Knicks in 5. This series should have gone 7. This series legitimately should have gone 7, but it's not going to, because Julius Randle left his game in the regular season. And RJ Barrett could not handle the load. And RJ he didn't have a great shooting time either. He shot 38% from the field, 28% from the 3-point line. Gave you 14 points in the regular season. I believe it was like 13 points. I'm trying to remember what he averaged in the regular season. He averaged 17 points this year in the regular season on decent efficiency, 44%, 40% from 3. He only took like 4 threes a game, so you can make like 1.5 threes per game on average. But still, he couldn't handle the load because Julius Randle, like I said, left his game in the regular season. He was done. And it's a shame that the Knicks got essentially waxed in their first playoff series in like 10 years. But, it sucks for them. It really does suck for y'all. Not for me, because my team is in the second round. Hello, Brooklyn, who absolutely destroyed the Boston Celtics in Game 5. Jason Tatum got him a game in Boston, dropping 50, but this series wasn't close. You essentially had, because Game 1, I know the score's 11 points, but Game 1 that close. Same thing with Game 2, blowout. Game 4, blowout. Game 5, blowout. Jason Tatum played well essentially the last 3 games of this series, but James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant, they were too much. And hell, even Joe Harris chipped in with a game there. Blake Griffin's playing good basketball right now. Bruce Brown's playing fantastic hoops right now. I didn't really talk much about this series, mainly because I didn't really care, because this series was irrelevant, because nobody actually thought that the Celtics had even the remotest chances of winning this series, even if they were healthy. James Harden in this series averaged 28 points, 11 rebounds, 47% from 3, 55% from the field. Kyrie Irving, who's got a championship himself, 25 points, about 6 assists, 38% from 3, 49% from the field. Kevin Durant, 32 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. 7 rebounds, 3 assists. I'm going to say 7 rebounds, 7 assists. My bad. I was reading that wrong. Anyway, 50% from 3, 54% from the field. One of the most efficient scorers the league has ever seen. Just a truly gifted scorer. He's got 2 rings for himself. As long as they stay healthy, this is going to be a tough team to beat. But the team I think can beat them is the team they'll be facing in the next round. And that team is the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks swept the Miami Heat. Swept them. I thought that series was going 6, but after game 1, I felt like that win in game 1, that Chris Middleton game-winning shot in game 1, gave the Milwaukee Bucks the confidence to believe that they are just flat out better than the Miami Heat. And they blew them out in every single game since. In game 2, 138-98. In game 3, 113-84. In game 4, 120-103. Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Giannis Antetokounmpo strangled the Nets offense. Not the Nets, the Heat offense. Jimmy Butler did not have a good series. Bam Adebayo was nowhere to be seen until like game 4. Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson did not have good series. I know Tyler Hero had kind of an okay game 4, but all of these guys, Duncan Hero, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, your 2 like super rookies from last year, did not show up. And in the last season in the playoffs, Tyler Hero averaged 16 points on 43% shooting, 37% from the free throw line, 37% from 3. This season, 9 points, 1 assist, 3 rebounds, 31% from the field, 31% from 3. And Duncan Robinson was no better. He was not much better. He averaged 11 points the last playoff, but yes, he had some big shots. In this series, he did average 10 points. 37% from the field compared to 42% from last year. 37% from the 3-point line compared to 39% last year. They got completely outmatched by the Milwaukee Bucks. In the Milwaukee Bucks and the Brooklyn series, before I watched the playoffs, I had that series going 6. Did I have it going 6 or 7? I had it going 7, and I had the Nets beating the Bucks in 7. But after watching this series, because the Nets did not get challenged in round 1. The Nets didn't get challenged in round 1, and that's what worries me. Because although the Milwaukee Bucks themselves didn't really get challenged in round 1 except for game 1, the difference is the Milwaukee Bucks exercised the demons of last year. They got beat. I believe they got beaten 5 last year by the Miami Heat. They either got beaten 5 or they got swept. And this year they exercised those demons by completely crushing the Miami Heat. And the problem is the Nets have yet to be tested against a very good defensive team. Because the Bucks' 3 best players and the Nets' 3 best players that's like a perfect combination. Because who's going to guard Giannis? Honestly, who's guarding Giannis on the Nets? You want to put Nicholas Claxton on him? You can't put Blake Griffin on him. You can't put, if Blake Griffin was like 10 years younger and his knees were still the jumping over the car Blake Griffin knees, then yeah, he could give Giannis some problems. And Giannis did not have a good field goal percentage in this series, but he didn't need to. He just didn't need to because of all the other weapons they had on this team with Brian Forbes and PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker is going to spend a lot of time on Kevin Durant. which means Giannis is probably going to end up guarding like Blake Griffin or Nicholas Claxton, who aren't great offensive threats. So he's going to be able to chill a lot on the offensive end, and on the defensive end, and give you a lot of help defense on Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and James Harden when they try to get to the rim. Drew Holiday is most likely going to be guarding Kyrie Irving. Drew is a fantastic defender. Chris Middleton is probably going to be guarding James Harden. Chris Middleton is also a really good defender. I think he's an underrated defender. He's a really good defender. So this series, in my opinion, goes 7. It's a toss-up. I'm going to go with the Nets because they're my team. They're my hometown team. I'm going to go with the Nets. But the Nets better not take the Bucks likely, or they can get knocked out in the second round. As for another series that ended last night, the Memphis Grizzlies got put away by the Utah Jazz. After Memphis won game 1, Utah won the next 4 after Donovan Mitchell, came back from his little injury, and Mitchell wanted to play game 1. And if Mitchell had played game 1, this series probably ends a hell of a lot sooner. But Mitchell in this series averaged about 29 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, 45% from the field, 40% from 3 after last year's crazy 7-game series against Denver in the first half when he averaged like 36 points. Ridiculous. But Donovan Mitchell, another one of those guys, he's been in the playoffs every year since his rookie year. He has never missed the playoffs in his 4-year career. Congratulations to him. Especially being able to do that in the Western Conference. This is a very well-built Utah Jazz team. The Jazz will play the winner of the Clippers Mavericks series. Now, with the Mavericks up 3-2, I think the Mavs close this one out. I think the Mavs beat the Clippers, so I got them. So I'm going to go with, even though I did have the Clippers winning and this series going 7, I hope it does go 7 because I would love to see Luka knock them out in LA, in their own building, in Game 7. I think that would be great for Luka. But the Utah Jazz, I think they can beat either one of these teams. because the Clippers are clipping in and of themselves already. They tied the series up and everybody was like, puffing their chest out. I mean, the series isn't over. We were all premature. No, we were not premature. Carlisle made a tactical error in Game 3, and Luka was hurt in Game 4. That shoulder was bothering him, and last night didn't look like it was bothering him at all. The Utah Jazz, and I think it's going to be Utah and Dallas in the second round right now. I made a lot of these picks before I saw any of these teams play in the playoffs, and as the series is going on, man, you could tell, even though I think the Clippers might be the better constructed team, might be the more talented team, let's just say that. They might be the more talented team. I think the Dallas Mavericks are the better constructed roster. I think the Mavericks are just a better constructed roster. Like I said, Memphis beat, and Mike Conley was essentially the best player in this series for the majority of this series. Shout out to Mike Conley. He was a fantastic player in this series. And as for Memphis, Ja Morant, and this was kind of like a coming out party for Dillon Brooks. He averaged, I want to say, like 27 points in this series. 26 points. He averaged 26 points in this series. And his regular season, he averaged 17 points. He's been getting better year after year after year. So I think he could definitely be a legitimate third option on this team. You have your number one option in Ja Morant, who was also fantastic in this series. Averaged 30 points himself in his first playoff series. Gave you 32% from the three-point line. And Ja Morant's not exactly a good shooter, but gave you 48% from the field, 8 assists. Ja Morant, you've got your number one in Ja Morant. He's going to keep getting better and better and better. He just has that in him. He has that, I'm going to get better and better and better every single time you see me. And he's like I said, he's going to get better. So the question for you is, if Dillon Brooks can evolve into that number 2, can Jaren Jackson evolve into that number 3? Because that's what you need. because I think you might have your three guys. The question is, because I've seen Dillon Brooks do it in the playoffs, can Dillon Brooks, against a very good defensive team in Utah, one of the best defensive teams in the field? So the question is, can Jaren Jackson evolve into that third guy that you need to win a championship? Because you need at least three guys. Now, that third guy can sometimes be a rotation guy who just comes up big and big and big in the playoffs. But every now and again, you need a guy to just come out and hit some shots. Like Miami Heat actually had a fourth guy, Mike Miller, hit some big shots in that series against, what was it? It was either against Oklahoma City or San Antonio. I cannot remember which one it was, but Mike Miller was that guy for the Miami Heat, and then Ray Allen was that guy for the Miami Heat when Mike Miller left. But like I said, another series that came to a close, a predictable close last night. The Philadelphia 76ers beat the Washington Wizards 5 games. Totally right on this one. The Wizards who were like the 10th seed. Russell Westbrook was horrendous from the field, but he averaged essentially a triple-double. Bradley Beal. I don't know. I know Bradley's loyal. It depends. It depends for Bradley Beal, because Bradley Beal, if he wants to win, he's got to leave Washington. He's got to leave Washington if he wants to win. He has to leave Washington if he wants to win, or Washington has to really put some time in to get some big names in here. You get another big, because you need another guy in Washington, and I'm not entirely sure who that guy is going to be. Because I like Rui Hachimura. I don't know how well Rui is going to be playing in this series. He had averaged 15 points, 7 rebounds, 61% from the field, shot 60% from the 3, but he only took 3. He hit essentially 2. So we'll be that right there. That is what it is. But the question is, this season was, you do have to shake up this roster. This season was marred by injuries and COVID for them. Hopefully most of these guys are vaccinated, and next year they can get maybe, because beginning of the season I had them in that 4-5 matchup. I thought Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal were gonna gel very quite well together, because you don't need Russell scoring because you have Bradley scoring, but neither of them were healthy the entire year. Like I said, this team got hit with COVID so hard and so often. So I am not overly optimistic. They got to do some roster changes. You got to get some other guys on this team. Hopefully their first round pick, with the guy from Israel whose name is escaping me at the present moment, he was hurt. So maybe he could be that guy for them. As for the Philadelphia 76ers, no real issue winning this game without Joel Embiid. Ben Simmons gave you a triple-double. I know a lot of people have been talking about Ben Simmons. His free throw shooting, he's at 62% after shooting like 25% from the free throw line in this series. Tobias Harris gave you 28 points. Seth Curry came up big with a 30-point bomb game. Dwight Howard and Tyrese Maxwell and Korkmaz all gave you double digits off the points. I really wish the Lakers had kept Dwight Howard. I've been saying it all year, but that is what it is. Now, a lot of people have been talking about Ben Simmons shooting over the last week. Here's what I would have to say to Ben. Because I was watching, First Things First, and Brandon Marshall was, puffing his chest out. Ben Simmons isn't a guy who's going to score 40, 30, 25 points a game. Here's the thing. I don't need Ben Simmons to score 20 points a game. I don't need Ben Simmons to score 30. I don't need him to score 40. He can still average his 14, 15, 16, 18 points a game. Whatever. He could average 19 points a game, 10 rebounds, 11 assists. He can do that. But I need Ben Simmons to be able to hit a 16-footer. I don't need him out where Steph Curry and Dame Lillard and LeBron and Luka and all those guys who can shoot. I don't need him all the way out there, but I need him outside of the paint. I need him outside of the paint. Because even though if he's your third scoring option, his inability to shoot makes everyone else's job on this team harder. It makes Joel Embiid's job harder. Because guys can drift off of you onto him. Because if you can't shoot, I don't have to be like within 5 feet of you. I don't have to be within 5, 6, 7 feet of you if you can't shoot. I need Ben Simmons to be able to hit a mid-range jump shot. That's all I need from Ben Simmons. I need you to be able to hit a mid-range jump shot. I need you to be able to step inside the three-point line and hit a jump shot. That's all I need. I don't need you to be able to hit 35-foot bombs like Steph Curry or Dame Lillard or any of those guys. I need you to hit a 16, 17, 18-foot jump shot. That's all I need. That is all I need from Ben Simmons. Can you do that for me? Because Ben Simmons, although has become a vastly superior defender than when he first stepped into the NBA, should have been Defensive Player of the Year, all Defensive Player of the Year this year, but that's going to go to Rudy Gobert in Utah. But still, you're the same offensive player that you were 5 years ago. You couldn't shoot then, you can't shoot now. And it's not can't, it's won't. That's my issue with Ben Simmons. It's not can't, it's won't. It's not that. Because Giannis can't shoot. John Morant's not exactly a great shooter. I don't need will shoot. I don't need can shoot. I need will shoot. I need you to be able to actually take that jump shot. And that's my problem with Ben Simmons. He won't take it. I don't need you to. I need want to from Ben Simmons. That's what I need from Ben Simmons. I need want to. I don't need a perfect shooting form. I don't need you to hit, like I said, I don't need you to hit threes. I need you to hit a solid jump shot. I need some solid post play. Like, young man, inside out. That's how LeBron, because when LeBron came into the league, he couldn't shoot, and now he's a solid 3-point shooter. 18 years later, always adding new things to his game. Giannis, always adding new things to his game. Luka, always adding to his game. My problem with Ben Simmons is he's never adding stuff to his game. He's become a better defender. My problem with Ben is he cannot shoot. It's not even cannot. He won't shoot. That's my issue with Ben. He won't shoot, and that his apathy towards shooting makes me question his desire. That's my issue with Ben. His inability to want to learn how to shoot makes me question his desire to win. It really does. I've never questioned LeBron's desire to win. I've never questioned Giannis Antetokounmpo's desire to win. I don't question Trae Young's desire to win. I don't question Luka Doncic's desire to win. I don't question Joel Embiid's desire to win, because Joel Embiid himself has gotten better every single year. My issue is Ben. Like I said, his inability to shoot makes me question his desire to win. That's what it is. And for the last topic of the day, the Dallas Mavericks go up 3-2 on the Los Angeles Clippers. The road team has won every single game of the series. Dallas has won games 1 and 2. Los Angeles won games 3 and 4. This should be 3-1, actually. Actually, it should have been a sweep. It should have been a sweep. But this should be at least 3-1, if not for a tactical error by Rick Carlisle in Game 3, early in Game 3, and taking Luka Doncic out for his regular rest. Instead of trying to put their foot on the necks of the Los Angeles Clippers, they took their foot off the pedal. Clippers came back and won that game, and then Clippers blew them out in Game 4, and now it's Game 5, and Luka came out there, and he did Luka things. And he just did Luka things. And the problem is, Paul George showed up, because Playoff P did show up in this game. Gave you 23 points, 46% from the field, 42% from 3. The problem is, Kawhi Leonard did not. Kawhi Leonard gave you 36% from the field, 7 for 19 from the field, 1 for 7 from 3, 20 points. Kawhi didn't show up. Reggie Jackson showed up. Got Nick Batum showed up. Marcus Morris showed up. And I know the Clippers tweaked their lineup in Game 4, and that's one of the reasons why they blew out the Mavericks. Because T. Lue made an adjustment that worked. And in this game, I think that adjustment probably would have worked too. Problem is, Kawhi didn't show up for this game. And Luke Kennard still ain't playing. How you give a man $64 million to sit his ass on the bench? But anyway, Luka showed up. And Tim Hardaway Jr. kind of showed up. Gave you 20 points. Terrible from the field. Bad from 3. 30% from 3. 31% from the field. But Luka showed up. 45% from the field, 50% from 3, 14 assists, 8 rebounds, 42 points. Luka's back. He showed up. Nobody else really did. Dorian Finney-Smith only had 8 points. Kristaps Porzingis didn't show up. He gave you 8 points. Boban gave you 9 points. Dwight Powell gave you 8 points. Maxi Kleber, 4 points. Jalen Brunson, 2 points. Josh Richardson, 2 points. Willie Cauley-Stein, 2 points. Now, I said earlier, I do have the Mavericks winning this series. I still think it goes 7, but instead, I got the Mavericks winning instead of the Clippers winning, even though it's going to fuck up my bracket because I got the Clippers heading to the conference finals. But the Clippers have yet to show me anything that makes me believe that they can beat this team healthy. As long as Luka is right, I don't think they can beat them. And I hope Rick Carlisle learns from his mistake in Game 3 and does not take Luka out too early. And if they get a big lead in Game 6, they need to put their foot on the necks of the Los Angeles Clippers in Game 6. I hope they can close this out at home, and I think they will close it out at home. I did say this series is going 7 before the playoffs, but after watching these two teams play, I think this is ending in Dallas. I don't know when the next game is. I don't know, when's the next game? Next game's tomorrow night in Dallas. So I think that's where this series ends. Any series ends in Dallas tomorrow night. Playoff P, like I said, Playoff P, figured out how to transfer his playoff penis to Julius Randle. I don't know how, but he did it because he's been balling out this series. And Kawhi Leonard has also been balling out. But Kawhi Leonard did not show up in this game. He did not show. I don't know what it is about LA, but they are so inconsistent that it seriously makes me doubt that they can beat Utah in the next round. Even if they win, it makes me seriously doubt they can beat Utah in the next round because Utah's clicking on all cylinders, and I do not trust the Clippers whatsoever. So with that being said, I did say that might have been my last topic for today. Honestly, it's not. Why? Because we got 2 games tonight. Portland and Denver. And yeah, we got Portland and Denver and Los Angeles and Phoenix. True issue. Portland, because the last Portland game ended in double OT with the Denver Nuggets winning 147-140, despite the fact that Damian Lillard dropped 55 points. Damian Lillard went out here into Dallas and dropped a double nickel. Problem is, nobody else really showed up. CJ McCollum, 7 for 22 from the field. Norman Powell, 5 for 14. Robert Covington, 5 for 10. Yusef Nurkic, 5 for 12. Carmelo Anthony, 3 for 11. Dame showed up in like the biggest way. He hit 12 threes in this game, but nobody else showed up. CJ McCollum had a costly turnover at the end of one of the overtimes. I think it was either at the end of one of the overtimes or in the fourth quarter. And Robert Covington misses a open dunk in the lane after a beautiful pass from Dame Lillard. Nobody else showed up for Dame. Now, I believe they're going to lose this series, and they're probably going to lose it tonight. I know Dame is going to give you everything he's got in Portland. He's going to give you absolutely everything he's got, but I don't think they can win this series. I really don't think the Portland Trail Blazers have what it takes to beat this Denver Nuggets team. And the Denver Nuggets aren't exactly, balling out themselves. because although Michael Porter Jr. and Nikola Jokic and the resurgence of Austin Rivers, who has become the third guy in this rotation, the guy who essentially won them, game 3? Essentially won them game 3, who has been balling out in this series. Austin Rivers. Who the hell made you think you would ever hear that name ever again? Austin Rivers hooping in this series. Just hooping. And I did not know that Austin Rivers has been in the league a while. He's only, 25, I think? He's 28. So he came in, I want to say when he was 19. So he's been in the league about 9 years. Been in the league about 9 years. Problem is, I've never been fond of Austin Rivers' game. I think he's one of those guys who really he came out too early. He's one of those guys who came out too early. But right now, he's hooping, and he's earning himself a contract. Right now, Michael Porter Jr. hooping himself, playing great basketball, averaging 17 points after averaging 11 points last year. But the true, like I was saying, the true of this series is Portland's just not that good. Portland after Dame Lillard is just not that good. And if Dame is dead set on winning a championship and doing everything, he's going to stay in Portland. He's loyal and all that other stuff, which I think is crap, but whatever. He just built different. He's just built different. If he wants to stay in Portland, they got to retool this roster. They have to completely retool this roster. And really, your only real asset is kind of CJ McCollum. So CJ got to go. Somebody got to go. See, you can't. Dame is too good. He is too good to be on a roster this bad right now. Because they're not playing well. He's too good to be on a roster this bad. And as for the other game tonight, the other potential closeout game, the Lakers and the Suns. Now, the Lakers and the Suns. Phoenix blew out the Lakers in game 5? Blew the Lakers off the court in game 5. They outscored the Lakers 32-10 in the second quarter, and this game was over. And the Lakers kind of just quit after that. Lakers quit because I felt like LeBron James, he was given a lot in the first quarter, but after the second quarter, I felt like LeBron was like, I'm not going to kill myself. I got to save up for game 6 because you don't know if Anthony Davis is playing. Him with his groin injury, AD getting hurt. These, in my opinion, are the two best teams in the Western Conference when fully healthy. And Chris Paul also re-aggravated his shoulder injury in his game. Cameron Payne just playing sensational basketball off the bench for the Phoenix Suns. Just sensational. And I know, so the question is, and Devin Booker showing up. The question is, can DeAndre Ayton and Devin Booker show up in a way, and hopefully Cam Payne can do the same, but can they show up? Because I think LeBron James is going to try to turn back the clock tonight in Los Angeles. If I'm LeBron James, that's what I'm trying to do. You got to turn back the clock tonight and hope that Dennis Schroeder shows up, and hope that Andre Drummond can give you something, and hope that KCP is moderately healthy, and hope that KCP can give you some, and hope that Markieff Morris and Kyle Kuzma and Wesley Matthews and Caruso and THG, hope some of these guys can give you something. And this starting lineup was horrendous by Mike Vogel. This was a horrendous starting lineup. I don't get this lineup. First of all, you take Montrezl Harrell and swap him out for Markieff Morris, and you take Marc Gasol and swap him out for Andre Drummond, and that should be your starting lineup. And if Kentavious Caldwell-Pope can't play, you put Alex Caruso in the starting lineup. Because Andre Drummond, once again, didn't show up in this game. Dennis Schroeder was nowhere to be found. Should have put out an APB for his ass. He was nowhere to be seen. LeBron James left this court with like 5 minutes left. He was disgusted. He was irritated and he was pissed at the level of play from his teammates because he showed up in the first quarter. Nobody else did. He showed up, tried to give you everything. Problem is, nobody else showed up. And after the second quarter, they scored a total of 10 points. Scored a total of 10 points. LeBron James tried to, get this team back into it in the third quarter with 17 points. And after that, he was like, because like I said, nobody else showed up. The starters just didn't play in the fourth quarter. So Kyle Kuzma, who was fantastic in the bubble last year, hitting shot after shot, came up big in the finals a couple times with some really good three-point shooting. He had 31% from the three-point line last year. He's shooting 19% from the three-point line, 43% from the field, 31% from the field. Kyle Kuzma has essentially disappeared. He has essentially disappeared in these playoffs, and like I said, he got a little way off P in him right now too. So this could be very bad for the Lakers, and I know a lot of people have been talking lately that what would a first round exit do for LeBron James's legacy? How much would a first round exit, how much would a first round exit hurt LeBron James's legacy? Let's be real. A first round exit does nothing to LeBron James's legacy. A first round exit does absolutely nothing to LeBron's legacy. Nothing whatsoever. LeBron James is, I believe, 14-0. 14-0 in the first round of the playoffs. Jordan got swept, I believe, 2 or 3 times. Yeah, I believe Jordan got swept 2 or 3 times in the first round. Yeah, I believe, I'm trying to remember. I believe he got swept. I want to say 2 or 3 times in the playoffs. Yeah, because his first 3 years in the league, he got swept in round 1, swept. Yeah, he got swept like 3 times in the first round of the playoffs. He lost like 3 games. He lost like 3 times in the first round of the playoffs. He had great numbers, but he lost, like I say, he lost like 3 times in the playoffs. 3 in the first round, and LeBron has literally never lost in the first round. LeBron James has never lost in the first round in his career. He's lost in the second. He's lost in the conference finals. He's lost in the NBA finals, but he has never lost in the first round. And losing in the first round at 36, 18 years in, does not hurt LeBron James's legacy whatsoever. Doesn't hurt his legacy whatsoever. Doesn't ding it. Doesn't take a shot at it. It's nothing. It's irrelevant to his overall legacy. Now, what it will hurt is his chances to catch Jordan. Because if he doesn't win the championship this year, he's not getting a 6. If he loses this year, he's not getting a 6. Now, last year I said LeBron James put himself in fantastic position to three-peat. The problem is nobody could stay healthy. LeBron himself couldn't stay healthy. Anthony Davis is hurt again. And the shooters on this team can't hit shit. Not a single one of them can throw the ball into the goddamn ocean. They're all terrible right now. And I feel like you're asking LeBron James to do something I really don't think he wants to do. And that's give everything he possibly have and try and turn back the clock a couple years to give you one of those classic LeBron 45 points, 15 rebounds, like 6 assists game, where he just controls the entire game from start to finish. And I don't know if he has that in him anymore. The guy's been in the league 18 years, man. This is his 18th year. I don't know if he has that in him anymore. And even if he doesn't, this should not be a referendum on his entire career. I mean, I'm not getting into the Jordan LeBron debate. I just can't do it. I can't do it because the debate itself is so irritating. It makes me want to rip people's head off. Because I feel like people take unnecessary shots at LeBron James because of how much they love Jordan. And they see that LeBron is the closest thing to Michael Jordan we have seen since Michael Jordan. And that includes Kobe. LeBron doesn't play like Mike, but LeBron is dominant. LeBron's the most dominant player we've seen since Mike. He is the most dominant we have seen since Mike in terms of offense, defense, just overall control of the game, playoffs. The guy is as dominant as any player has ever been in the league. And I feel like and it's not that I feel it. We don't give him the respect he deserves because we feel so threatened that this guy might actually be better than the guy who is the reason that most of us watch basketball. He's the reason. Michael Jordan is the reason most of us are fans. Yeah, he's especially the younger fans, especially like the younger millennials. He's the reason that most of us are fans. So we are so indoctrinated into that the very idea that anybody could possibly be better than him is blasphemous, even though that's what happens. The next generation is better than the previous generation, and sometimes one guy shows up head and shoulders above his generation, and that's what LeBron has been for the better part of 15 years. He has been head and shoulders above everybody else, and instead of being unquestionably the best player in the NBA, and now it's an argument who the best player in the NBA is, because LeBron is beginning to regress as a player. He can't do this anymore. That's why he needed Anthony Davis. LeBron knew his time was coming, and that's why he needed Anthony Davis. Problem is, AD can't stay healthy. AD was healthy last year. And credit to AD, this is the first playoff game he's missed in his career. I think he's played like 37 career playoff games. This is his first playoff game missed, but it comes at a really inopportune time, AD. It comes at a really inopportune time. And I think one of the problem is that when AD was in high school, between his junior and his senior year, he grew like 8 inches. And the problem is the human body isn't meant to grow like that. It's meant to grow gradually. And a growth spurt that big stretches your ligaments, your muscles, your bones. It makes you being that height makes you more susceptible to injury. And it's not that his height's the problem, it's how fast he grew into that height that is the problem. That's why I feel there's a reason why Kevin Durant, who's I think either the same height or might be taller than Anthony Davis, doesn't have the same injury history that AD. Yeah, KD's gotten hurt a couple times, but there's a reason I feel like he doesn't have that same injury history. One of the reasons being is he's a perimeter-based player. He's more of a perimeter guy than AD is, and he doesn't bang like AD bang. And second, I feel like Kevin Durant grew more gradually, like 3 inches this summer, 3 inches this summer, 3 inches this summer, instead of going 8 inches in one summer. I feel like if AD had gone from like 6'1" to 6'4" one year, and then like 6'4" to like 6'8" the next year, and then like 6'8" to 6'10" the next year, I think his body would have had more time to adjust before growing completely. And now he's one of the more injury prone players in the league. And I love AD. He's definitely a top. Stay healthy, he'd be in the guys in the conversation for MVP every single year. Top 5 player, best player in the league, that conversation, but he can't stay healthy. But I've got the Lakers tonight. I think LeBron James is going to pull out one of those vintage LeBron James performances. And I think for the Phoenix Suns, if you want to beat the Lakers, I think you got to do it tonight. Because contrary to popular belief, LeBron is one of the most clutch players to ever play this game. and he has never lost a Game 7. He's never even, he's only come close to losing Game 7 a couple times. He's never lost a Game 7. He's won Game 7s in the NBA Finals. And I think that beating LeBron James in a Game 7, I think that's something that I don't think he will allow to happen. So if you're going to get this done, I think you got to get it done tonight. If the Clippers get it done, the Suns, if they can get it done tonight, tonight's their chance to knock out the Lakers. Because if this goes to a 7, I think LeBron James could pull this one out. I think LeBron James might be able to give you 2 vintage games to avoid losing in the first round, and then might end up losing in the second round to whoever wins the Denver-Portland series. Because his team just doesn't have the offensive firepower without Anthony Davis to match either of those teams. I think he could lose in the second round this year, because even though he's getting healthier, Anthony Davis isn't. And ladies and gentlemen, that is it for episode I have no idea of the SJP Files Sports Report. I'm your host, SJP, and we're going to play you out with a little Ellis Clear My Mind for a quick second or so, and then we're done.
I just can't let
See
you
you
go.
later. Goodbye.
Lord knows that I've
Hit you up in
tried
a
to.
couple days for the next episode
You
of the
said
SJP
I was
Files.
the only one. No one likes being lied to. You made this mess and left me with the pieces. Now I wanna burn all the bridges between us. I can't focus. I can't forget. I've been thinking too much lately. I just need to clear my head. I just need to clear my head. I've been stuck on your memory, but it's not like I need it. And you may have some history, but we don't have to repeat